The Women's Leadership Institute in the Auburn University College of Liberal Arts is pleased to present Leaders Educating Through Discussion. We hope you will take a moment after you watch our presentation to add your own voice to the dialogue on our website, auburn.edu/women's leadership.
Good afternoon. We like to play musical chairs, and now it's my turn. Nell Cecilia Jackson. We can remember extraordinary women in all areas of life. And today we are discussing, reviewing, talking about some of those women from Tuskegee. In this photo of Nell Jackson, we see what great form she has as a sprinter. Even people who are not athletes like myself can see this good form. You'll see also that she has, her uniform says Tuskegee, and we are seeing a part of Tuskegee's campus. Also, this photo was made in the 1950s. But we need to know that athletic activities have always been important at Tuskegee since its inception. Booker T. Washington, the founder, believed in providing for the well-being of the whole person. Physical activities were included in Tuskegee's first bulletin, which was published in 1882, and these activities were listed under the heading Gymnastics. Tuskegee's second president, Robert Russell Moulton, believed that sports build bodies and character. Tuskegee's fourth president, Luther H. Foster, praised the Tuskegee relays as the best and the greatest activity for track and field for students. The Tuskegee relays were started by Coach Cleveland Abbott, and his program was so great that he easily recruited people, and I say people, men and women, from adjoining states. Although track and field events were not popular in the United States at that time, the teams that Coach Abbott sent to the local and national and international events were very popular and were well received. Incidentally, from 1937 to 1940, Tuskegee's women's track team won 13 national titles, including 8 in a row. Now, this meant that the women had to know what they were doing, right? Okay, as we examine the lives of these very important women, we see that from Tuskegee's beginning, we have had people who would fall in the category of extraordinary leaders. Also, we see that these women are willing to work. They are very well prepared. They're willing to share their knowledge. They do all of these things. You have heard Dr. Gephardt and Dr. Carter talk about Jessie Guzman and Noel Mitchell and how they did what they needed to do and emerged as leaders. One of the good things about Nell Jackson is that she was not just an athlete. Many of the women who participated in sports activities participated as athletes. Nell Jackson went ahead as first a coach and then as an administrator. So she moved from athlete to coach to administrator, all the time doing all of these things that needed to be done. You see here information about Nell Jackson's education and her preparation. She started running when she was at the high school, at Tuskegee Institute High School. This is when she started winning. At Tuskegee Institute, she played basketball and was on the track team, and she continued to win. When she went to Springfield College, where she got her master's degree, continuing to run. And when she went to the University of Iowa, where she earned her PhD degree, all these degrees in physical education, she was either working as an athlete or as a coach. Then she studied at the University of Oslo. Her experience includes competition in athletic events at the high school level, at the college level, at the national level, and at the international levels. She participated in the Pan American Games and more than one time in Olympic Games. We see Nell Jackson's first participation in the Olympic Games occurred in 1948. Do you see her in that photo? She's in the center in the first row. That lady is Nell Jackson. Look at the ladies in the second row. The lady on your left is Alice Coachman. Now, this is the U.S. Women's Olympic track team. There were 11 people, 11 women on that team. 9 of them were black, and 4 of them came from Tuskegee. That's how well represented we were. That's how strong our team was. Of these 4 women from Tuskegee, Nell Jackson won second place in the 200-meter race, and this was her event. Most of her awards and titles were won in the 400 meters and also in the in the 200s and in the 400 relays. One of the Tuskegee women, Mabel Walker, won in the 100 meters. Teresa Manuel qualified in the hurdles and the javelin, so we were not just running. It was not just track. It was also field. And this is the year that Alice Coachman won the gold in the high jump. These women were directed by Coach Cleveland Abbott, and I think I've mentioned him before. He was the one who was such a great coach, and he himself was in more than one Hall of Fame, that women wanted to come to Tuskegee to train under him. And at that time, we trained, I was not one of them, but we trained high school and college together. High school and college women made up the team. Then a few years after that, they were divided into junior women and senior women. The junior women of the junior team, high school, the senior team, college. But we started out as one team. Now, Nell Jackson was born in Athens, Georgia in 1929. Her family moved to Tuskegee, and she grew up there. It was here that she first participated in the competition. It was here that she first learned how to swim. It was here that after she earned her master's degree, she came back to work as a coach. And not only was she participating, she was also serving as a coach, as a mentor, as a leader, even at this young age. Some of her teaching positions include some of the schools where she had attended: Tuskegee Institute, University of Illinois, Illinois State, Michigan State. You see all of that. But her one point that she liked to make is that one can be a coach and can also hold an academic position, so that we're not limited to just the track events. You'll also notice that Nell Jackson was the first African American to serve as an Olympic team coach, and this happened in 1956. Nell Jackson is a person who was willing to lead, to work hard, and to take risks, as we have noticed from the other women that we've already talked about. You'll notice some of the positions that she held. She was clinic director at a training camp. She was the chair of the Women's Track and Field Committee of the Amateur Athletic Union, head coach at Olympic events, member of the board of directors of the United States Olympic Committee, selected to attend the Olympic Academy. One thing that Nell Jackson liked to do, as do most leaders, and that is to give others credit and to bring others forward. When she was at Michigan State, 13 of her students attained Amateur Athletic Union honors. I've listed some people here. H. Frank Leftwich, who is at Tuskegee right now. He came to Tuskegee in the 1960s, and Nell Jackson was partly responsible for his being there, and he's still there. He worked as a coach and in various administrative offices also. Karen Dennis was a student at Michigan State when Nell Jackson was there. And this is what Karen Dennis had to say about Nell Jackson's impact on women's athletics in America. I had never planned on going into coaching, but Dr. Jackson encouraged me to get my master's and assist her in the program. And that's how I got into coaching. She was very involved in mentoring women to go into athletics and to go into coaching. There are a lot of coaches and a lot of women throughout the country who benefited from her tutelage, whether they had her directly as a coach or as someone they could look to that accomplished what seemed like impossible dreams. At the present time, Karen Dennis is head coach at Ohio State University for the women's track team. One other person I'll get it right in a minute. Okay. One other person that Nell Jackson coached and brought forward was Judy Brown Clark. Judy Clark was at Michigan State also, and she is one of the persons who was encouraged to go ahead and get her doctorate. She was impressed by Nell Jackson's belief in her. Nell Jackson was the one who would not take any excuses. You've got to do this. I know you can do it. Let's go ahead and get it done. Barbara Jackett, one of her proteges also, is a Tuskegee graduate. Barbara Jackett graduated in 1958, and she has won many honors herself. Not only has Nell Jackson influenced all these athletes and coaches and administrators, she also influenced the young children when she first started teaching these kids how to swim. And one or two ladies that I talked with were very pleased to tell me that they were just so impressed because she was so kind and so patient and treated them so well. One of the ladies said that when she finally made it across, all the way across the pool, and she opened her eyes, there was Miss Jackson standing there smiling, and she still enjoys swimming. Two different people told me that. in her work as an administrator, as a coach, as a teacher, Nell Jackson published more than 20 articles, books, papers, etc. She has published a textbook. She worked with the Olympic team in preparing this film, Grace in Motion, NCAA instructional film loops. All of these places and people she worked with, and worked on sharing her knowledge and helping to bring them forward. Nell Jackson, athlete, coach, administrator, one of the extraordinary leaders that we know from Tuskegee.